Hey everyone, this is Dana, and thanks for joining me as we do this St. Patrick's Day garland together.
Let's go ahead and get started. In this kit, you'll receive 4 pom-poms, and then materials to make 2 shamrocks, 3 golden coins, 2 leprechaun hats. You'll also receive all your stuffing, jute twine, embroidery floss, and 2 needles to make your garland. The first thing we're going to do is learn the blanket stitch. We're going to start with the gold coin because it's the easiest shape that we have. The DMC embroidery thread has 2 pieces of paper that wrap it together. If you go to the longer of the 2 pieces of paper, you'll find a tail in there, and if you pull from this end where the word blanc is, when you pull the string out, it will not get tangled. So we're going to actually pull the string from that end, and we're going to pull out, about 36 inches. And then we're going to cut that thread with a scissors that you provide. Then we're going to take the thinner of the needles, the metal needle, not the colored one, out of our needle holder. And we are going to thread the needle. I usually just kind of get it wet, pinch it, and it should just go straight through. You're going to leave a tail and then go to the other end where you need to tie a knot. The easiest way for me to teach you how to tie a knot is to just pinch it with your left finger and thumb, wrap it around your thumb or your finger, twist it between your 2 fingers, and then pull. And then you'll have a knot at the end. And make sure that it's just that single strand instead of doubled up with the tail. So you can see I have the tail there. You're going to take your 2 pieces of felt, and you'll notice that on the back side of the felt, there might be a little bit of a gray mark there. That's just from my laser cutting it. You want to make sure that those marks are on the inside of the gold coin, not the outside. So either way you flip it, you don't see those gold marks, because they're on the inside. You're going to sandwich those together, but then to start this first stitch, you're going to divide them. And from the inside of the top, you're going to insert your needle about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. Pull it all the way through. And now you're going to have your knot sandwiched in between the 2 pieces of felt. Sometimes, depending on how long your tail is, you might see a little bit of that thread sticking out. So we're going to take our needle and just push that knot all the way in so you can't see it. Now we're going to start from the bottom and go up, and you're going to try to go through the same hole essentially that you did when you were doing that first stitch. So you're basically making an entire circle. A little knot here. There we go. So basically we've just gone all the way around one time. Now, before we actually start the blanket stitch, I need to teach you how to lock this stitch in place. If we don't, it won't loosen up, but it'll lose its shape. So we don't want that to happen. So turn your 2 pieces of felt on the side, and from underneath the loop, you're going to take your needle and go bottom to top and go all the way through, and then go through one more time, bottom to top. And that locks that first stitch into place. Now, to do the blanket stitch, we're going to be stitching all the way around, golden coin here, and we're going to stop about right here, and then we're going to stuff it, and then we're going to finish that blanket stitch. Let me show you how to do that. To do the blanket stitch, you are going to move up and over about 1/4 of an inch, and from top to bottom, you're going to insert your needle, pull it through, but before you pull it tight, you're going to have this loop right here. I want you to take your needle from bottom to top, go through the loop, and pull out. And when you go through that loop, it'll catch this part right here from going to a diagonal. And then you've got your first stitch right there. Let's do it again. From the top, you're going to go over and up 1/4 of an inch. You're going to go through the felt. You've got a loop left over here from bottom to top. You're going to take your needle through the loop and pull tight. Let's go ahead and speed up the camera for time's sake, and we'll finish the stitches for the golden coin. Okay, we are a little bit more than 3/4 of the way done with the gold coin stitching. But before we finish, we are going to stuff it with polyfill. You're going to want to take a small fingerful of stuffing and you're just going to open the coin up a little bit and stuff it full. I think I'll add just a little bit more here. And now that I have it stuffed, I'm going to pinch the felt pieces back together, tighten up that last stitch, and continue with my blanket stitch. Now that we're done with the blanket stitch, you'll notice that the gold coin has a white thread border all the way around, but the last stitch isn't connected. So we want to connect the last stitch to the first so it has a continuous border. To do that, I take my needle and go under the loop of the first stitch to connect it. I go under it again, making a loop, and then from bottom to top, I take my needle through the loop and pull it tight to form a knot. Now we have a continuous border around the entire coin. To finish the coin, we are going to take our needle and go between the two pieces of felt and push our needle through the stuffing of the coin, and then let the needle come out the front. Pull through the excess thread, give it a little tug, and then snip it with your scissors, and the tiny thread tail will get sucked back into the coin. Next, we are going to work on the leprechaun top hats. You'll notice that the front of the hat has a black band and a gold buckle already attached. And the back piece doesn't have any extra embellishments. Go ahead and match those two pieces together. Now, I don't need to teach the blanket stitch again, but there are some things that are good to know. First, for the hat, you'll need about 4 to 5 feet of embroidery thread. It's bigger than the gold coin, and it's best if you don't run out of thread halfway through stitching the shape. I'm threading my needle. And tying my knot. Wrap, twist, and pull. Now, here's my advice. Go ahead and rotate the hat so that it's upside down in your hands. And start on the right side at the top of the black band. Go around the rim of the hat and back up the left side until you finish stitching the edge of the black band. Stop stitching and then stuff the bottom half of the hat. Then continue stitching on the left side and the top of the hat. Stuff the top of the hat and then finish where you started. The reason for this is that the rim of the hat gets pretty tiny. I will use the edge of a pair of scissors or even a crochet hook to get the stuffing into the tight spots. If you were to start at the top and finish at the bottom, it would be really difficult to get the stuffing into the tighter spots. One last thing to note, because of the black band, you'll be stitching through 3 layers of felt and some adhesive. It'll take just a little bit more finger strength to get your needle through the black. If you need to, you can use a thimble if you have one on hand to help. Since you know how to do the blanket stitch already, I'll go ahead and speed this up so we can keep moving. I'm setting that first stitch in place, and then I'm trying to do a total of 4 stitches on the black band. Then I continue around the brim of the hat until I reach the other side. Once I'm there, I do 4 more stitches on the right-hand side of the black band. Okay, we have the bottom half all stitched up, and before continuing, I'm going to stuff that bottom half of the hat with polyfill. We'll just start with a small fingerful and push it as far down to the brim as possible. You could use an eraser side of a pencil, a crochet hook, or even the end of a scissors to get the stuffing into that corner. I'm using a pair of scissors here. Then on to the other side, pushing it into the corner again. And then for good measure, we'll add 1 more small fingerful in the middle. So you can see the bottom half of the hat is stuffed, and now I'll finish stitching around the side and the top. Then I'll pause to stuff some more, and then we'll close it off. Now we will go ahead and finish stuffing the top of the hat. Whoops, a little too much. That's better. I'll continue to add some more. And just a little bit more. That looks good. And then we'll pinch that side edge and finish the blanket stitch. And remember, for that last stitch, we're going to connect it to the first with our needle. Pull it through. Do it again. Catch that loop and pull tight. Then we will insert our needle into the hat between the felt through the stuffing. Pop it out the front. Give it a little tug and snip. And there we have our hat. All right, the last shape we're going to be doing for the garland is our shamrock. For the shamrock, just like the hat, we'll need between 4 and 5 feet of embroidery thread. It's always better to have a little bit more than what you actually need. As always, thread the needle and tie the knot at the end. Pinch, wrap, twist, pull. I think the best starting point for the shamrock is to start on the left side before the stem. Then do the stem and then the right leaf. Then pause and stuff the bottom half of the shamrock and then finish off at the top. I'll speed up the initial stitching here for time's sake. By now you're practically a pro at the blanket stitch, but don't forget, you have 2 more coins, 1 hat, and another shamrock to do. Chances are good that your stitches around the stem will need to get a little smaller. That's totally fine. Just do your best and wrap around to the right side of the shamrock. Stopping here, it's time to stuff that bottom portion. It'll be next to impossible to stuff the stem, so don't worry about getting anything in there. Grab small fingerfuls and stuff the bottom half. Just a little bit more. Okay, now I'll pinch the felt between my fingers and stitch up the half of this sleeve, then stuff the rest and then stitch it up completely. Time to add a little bit more stuffing. That looks good. And I'll finish up my stitches. All right, so we have the shamrock, the top hat, and the gold coin. And through the magic of editing, we have all of our pieces done for our garland. We'll string them together with our jute twine and the remaining needle we have in our needle holder. You can lay this out any way you'd like, but here's the order that I like. A pom-pom, a gold coin, a shamrock, another pom-pom, a hat. Oh, we're running out of space here. Let's move it over. Another gold coin, a shamrock, pom-pom, another hat, a gold coin, and a pom-pom. There we go. And of course, there'll be a little bit of space in between each shape when we hang it on the garland. Go ahead and untie your jute twine and find an end. Threading it on the needle should be relatively easy. And then just leave yourself about a 2-foot tail. Now that you have your design in place, let's go ahead and get started. You can start on either end. I'm going to start with the pom-pom. Simply insert the needle into the middle of the pom-pom and push through. Pull it to the other end of the garland, leaving about 24 inches as a tail. For me, the next shape is a gold coin. When it comes to stringing any of the felt pieces on, you want to make sure you're doing so on the top half of the shape. To string it, insert your needle in between the felt pieces into the center of the stuffing. Then come out on the other side about the same distance from the top. Then string it to the end next to the pom-pom. Next is the top hat. String it from side to side going through the stuffing and keeping it on the top half of the hat. Then string it next to the gold coin. Keep doing this until you get to the end of the garland. Once you've finished stringing the garland, it is ready to hang. Congrats, my friends, you've just finished your garland project. Fun, right?
Thanks again for joining me for this fun St. Patrick's Day project. For more projects in the future, you can follow along with Sela Creative Company on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Have a great day.